Hello and welcome everyone on this official platform of Legacy IAS Academy. A couple on a honeymoon in the serene hills of Meghalaya disappears. Days later, the news explodes a brutal murder, a tangled web of lies and whisper of a double life. But what is the real twist? It wasn't the elite CBI or a foreign intelligence agency that cracked a case. It was the humble local police, underpaid, overworked, and underestimated. Ji haan. What does this case really tells us? Why do we often doubt the capability of our own police stations and we trust only big and central agencies? And can political interference be replaced with political will to empower our institutions? So in this video, we go beyond the headlines to uncover the real lessons from the Meghalaya honeymoon murder case. Not just about crime, but about the institutional integrity, trust in governance, and the hidden heroes within our system. So this is not just a story of a murder. It's a mirror held up to our society and a wake-up call for how we see justice, how we see ethics, and the everyday officers who protect us. So, a wonderful editorial in Indian Express, as you can see here, and the headline, A Murder in Meghalaya and a Lesson. Now, why this editorial is important? First of all, let me tell you, this editorial is very important for UPSC aspirant from the perspective of GS paper 4 ethics as well as GS paper 2 and essay paper. So we are going to take this editorial from each and every perspective. Okay. So as you can see here, the headlines, the state police and local police stations cannot be ignored. They are competent and efficient, would perform even better with more resources and trained staff. So these are the headlines. These are some important things. Now, so as you can see here, a wonderful editorial in this Indian Express newspaper. Now, first of all, let me tell you what happened in Meghalaya. A murder took place in Meghalaya called by the media as honeymoon murder. And it has shocked many people because it involved young people hiding their real lives behind a fake image in public. Now, what is the main message which is given in this editorial? So, the main message which is given in this editorial is called as local police are good. So, the most important thing is about local police efficiency. Local police are efficient. So now we are going to understand these things. Okay. Now, the author of this editorial is a police officer who says that the case shows that people do not trust their local police enough. कि लोग अपनी local police पर ज़्यादा trust नहीं करते हैं. And whenever there is a complex case, people always ask for CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, to take over. But this is unfair because local police are actually very skilled, effective, and they are just overburdened. Now, how do the local police works? है ना? अब local police काम कैसे करती है? So let's try to understand. Now, how do these local police work? So let me tell you that police stations are the best at gathering information because they are in touch with the local people every day. And in this case, a tourist guide gave a crucial clue about 3 people who were with the couple. Now, young police officers are they good at tracking the mobile phones. They are good at solving the cyber crimes. They also good at accessing the digital information. Now, even sub-inspectors should also be allowed to officially investigate cybercrime, according to author. Not just inspector, even sub-inspector को भी allow करना चाहिए officially to investigate the cyber crime. Now, the question in this editorial is, then what about CBI, which is the central agency? क्या CBI को खत्म कर देना चाहिए, है ना? So what about CBI? Now try to understand. The CBI is a central agency with very trained officers, but CBI has many problems. Now, what are the problems in CBI? There are too many pending cases, है ना? Not enough officers are there. The CBI is good, but they cannot beat local police in getting fast as well as real-time local information. तो जब सीबीआई की बात हो रही थी तो वहीं पर नाम आ जाता है सीआईडी का. सीआईडी विच इज कंसीडर्ड एज ए फॉरगॉटन हीरो. फॉरगॉटन हीरो, सीआईडी, फॉरगॉटन हीरो. So between the CBI and the police station lies CID, that is Criminal Investigation Department. As you can see here, between CBI and police station are Criminal Investigation Department, that is CID, है ना? Now, it used to be popular in old Hindi films. और CID सभी ने देखा होगा सीरियल ACP प्रद्युमन. जैसे CID आता सीधे हमारे सामने कौन आता है? ACP प्रद्युमन, है ना? So अब ऑथर ने ऐसा कहा है that it used to be popular in old Hindi films, but people do not talk about it much, है ना? Today people do not talk about much about CID, है ना? तो ये चीज कहा है ऑथर ने. However, CID still exists and they does serious investigations quietly. Like for example, एक example भी दिया हुआ है, as you can see here, example like notorious mass killer of Mumbai, Raman Raghav, है ना, who through his serial rapes and more than 40 murders had cast a spell of fear over the Mumbai city, and he was arrested, investigated and successfully prosecuted by crime branch of Mumbai. This is the example. CID, a crime branch, CID crime branch of Mumbai caught Raman Raghav, who was a serial killer in Mumbai, who raped and killed over 40 people. Now, what about interstate cooperation in Meghalaya case? So let's try to understand interstate cooperation. Now, as you can see here, interstate cooperation in Meghalaya case. Now, in the Meghalaya murder, police departments in 3 states, they work together effectively. अब ये क्या शो करता है? This shows that state police can also handle the big crimes even when they cross state borders. And criminals should not underestimate our police system. Now, what's holding the police back? So let's try to understand. So what's holding the police back? So in this scenario, let me tell you that the biggest problem for local police and CID, है ना, CID जो है, so the biggest problem for local police and CID are that they do not have enough time. Why? अब उनके पास time क्यों नहीं होता? Because due to many duties like VIP security, they have to do they have to give VIP security, patrolling also, too little staff and resources, political interference from local as well as state leaders also. Still, the skills and motivation of police officers remain strong. So, what are the final lessons? As you can see here, final lessons from this Meghalaya murder. Local police station and state police, they are smart, capable and tech savvy also. Apart from this, they need more resources, more training and less political interference. And CID should be used in more and CID actually it is used more in interstate crimes. And citizens, they should learn how police work and support them. Citizens should support local police instead of always demanding CBI probe, है ना? And politicians, they should know how valuable local police are. That is why they all want control of home ministry department. Okay, so what is the bottom line here? The bottom line in this, that this murder case in Meghalaya, it shows a strong message. First message is trust your local police. Second, give them support as well as resources. Third thing is they are, you can say, they are efficient than you think, and with political and public support they can excel also. Okay, so this is the thing which is given in this editorial, है ना? इस editorial में ये सारी चीजें दी गई हैं. Now, why this editorial is relevant from the perspective of UPSC examination? So let's try to understand that why this editorial is important. Now, so let's try to understand from the perspective of UPSC. As you can see here, this editorial is useful in essay paper as well as ethics paper also. Essay paper, how? Themes like policing in India, challenges and reforms, the role of institutions in ensuring justice or local governance, national security. It can draw rich content from this article. You can take various content, various information from this article for your UPSC mains paper. Okay, then GS paper 4, ethics, integrity, aptitude. Now this editorial gives us good example of dedication as well as integrity of local officers despite limited resources. Now this editorial also shows that how well intentioned and political support, that is not interference, can boost morale as well as improve the performance of local officer. Now this editorial is also useful to illustrate the ethical public administration as well as institutional capacity building. That is why this editorial is very important. Now, why this is relevant? Why this is relevant? So, as you can see here, what is the relevance of this editorial? From the perspective of GS paper 2, police reforms, cooperative federalism, because interstate police, you know, then role of state institutions, civil services. So these topics are connected with this editorial. Then second, from the perspective of GS paper 3, internal security, cyber policing, digital investigation, policing in urban areas. This is also connected with this editorial from the perspective of GS paper 3. Then essay paper, governance, law, order, then citizen trust, institutional capability. So based on that, in essay also they can ask any topic. Okay. Then GS paper 4, ethics in policing, role of motivation and leadership in ethics, then administrative integrity. So these topics are related to your ethics paper. Now, what is important from the perspective of UPSC mains? You can use this editorial as a case study. That is, so use this case study of Meghalaya honeymoon murder, and this is a real world example. And if you give real world example which is recent also, then you can fetch good marks in your mains examination. Okay, so it is the real world example, so you can use this example to support your answers on police capability. Then apart from this, you can also give evidence of local state, that is CID, local state CID and central coordination. Apart from this, a counterpoint can also be given, a counterpoint to blind trust in central agencies like CBI. So this highlighting the need to empower local police as well as CID. So these are the things which you can use in your GS paper 4, that is ethics as well as your essay paper. Now, so let's try to decode this article from the perspective of ethics, integrity and aptitude. Now, the first thing that we can learn from this editorial is dedication and integrity in public service. First thing that we can learn, dedication and integrity in public service. Kaise? Now try to understand. As we have seen in this editorial also, that local police officers in Meghalaya, they worked hard, they used limited resources, as well as they cracked a complex murder case. Despite being overloaded with VIP duties, emergency calls, as well as lack of time. So what they have showed? They have showed dedication to duty, है ना? They have showed dedication to duty. They have showed integrity. They have showed integrity. They have showed professional competence. Professional competence. Okay. Now, what ethics concept you can use here in this portion? You can use this concept called as integrity. है ना, इंटीग्रिटी का यूज किया जा सकता है. What is integrity? Doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Dedication to duty or dedication to public service. That means upholding your duty to serve society even in tough situation. Okay. Then second, so the first thing you can write this. Second thing you can mention about ethical public administration. Second thing is ethical public administration. How? So in this editorial that we have discussed just now, so this editorial shows how local police, CID and even CBI are all important institutions, but they often face structural issues. Now what are structural issues? Structural issues like, first, shortage of staff. Shortage of staff. Second thing, too many duties. Too many duties. And third, political interference. Political interference. Now, what ethics concept you can use here in this portion? First thing is institutional integrity. Now, what is institutional integrity? Public institutions must be allowed to work independently as well as fairly. Second thing, you can use another ethical value, that is objectivity and impartiality. That means politicians should support police without misusing them for personal gain. Clear? Then third important thing which you can mention in this editorial is well intentional support. Now well intentional, which kind of support? Political support. So well intentional political support. And what about political interference? So versus interference you can mention. Versus interference. How? So this editorial also notes that when politicians support police with good intentions, like giving them resources as well as respecting their independence, so police reforms, police, you can say police performance better also. In that case, police perform better. But when there is interference, then it harms the efficiency as well as public trust. Okay. Now, what can be the ethics concept that you can mention in this portion? So the first thing is accountability and responsibility. Accountability and responsibility. Okay, accountability and responsibility. That means elected leaders must act in the public interest. Second, leadership values. leadership values. That means ethical leadership motivates others also to work with honesty as well as confidence. Apart from this, another aspect that you can take from this editorial is competence, and professional excellence. Competence and professional excellence. Now, young police officers, they use technical tools like mobile tracking as well as cyber investigation, as we have discussed from in the editorial. Now, this shows how professional competence as well as constant learning, they are part of ethical public service. Now, what ethics concept you can use here? So here you can use the competence. Competence can be used. And then second, commitment to excellence. Commitment to excellence. Now, how competence? Competence, that means it is an ethical responsibility to stay updated with these skills which is needed for the effective service. Commitment to the excellence, officers, they must strive to give their best for justice as well as public safety. Another important thing which this editorial tells, that is trust between citizens, that is trust between citizens and institutions. Now, citizens often do not trust local police and they immediately demand CBI involvement. But this case shows how trusting and empowering local institution leads to faster and better results. What if this case was given to CBI and uh, then it is going to take like large amount of time because they are already overburdened. There are so many pending cases. So what are the ethical concepts we can see here? Trust as moral capital. Ji haan, you can mention trust as a moral capital. Trust as moral capital. So when institutions behave ethically, public trust increases. Second, citizen centric governance. Citizen-centric governance. Now, people should be involved and informed about how institutions work. Okay, so these things are there. Now, how to use this editorial in ethics answer as well as case studies. So, how you can use this in your answers or case studies? You can use this editorial as real life example. Use this Meghalaya case to show the integrity of field level officers, then ethical handling of complex crimes, then cooperation between states as well as departments. Then you can mention the importance of political non-interference. So you can use these key terms in your answer paper. Now, as a case study कैसी आ सकती है? Suppose you are a public officer in a resource poor setting, yet you are tasked with solving a high profile murder across multiple states. So political pressure is mounting. What values will guide your response? अब कौन सी वैल्यूज होंगी एज एन ऑफिसर जो आपको गाइड करेंगी, है ना? तो आप कौन कौन सी वैल्यूज लिख सकते हो? सो इन दिस फर्स्ट थिंग यू कैन मेंशन दैट इज इंटीग्रिटी. आप इंटीग्रिटी के बारे में बताइए, है ना? यू कैन टॉक अबाउट इंटीग्रिटी. देन यू कैन ऑल्सो टॉक अबाउट प्रोफेशनलिज्म. Then non-partisanship, courage, objectivity, commitment to rule of law. These values you can mention in this case study. Okay. So finally, let me tell you that final thing that you that need to know, if these kind of editorials are there in the newspaper, what you should do. Like for example, let's take the example of this editorial itself. This editorial is a gold mine for the ethics preparation as well as essay paper. Why? Because this editorial is a blend of real life public service, complex decision making and ethical governance values. And it also reminds us that system works best when institutions are trusted, when they are supported and staffed with the ethical officers. So overall, this editorial is very important. So what are the themes that we have discussed just now? Integrity and professionalism, ethical public administration, trust and citizen engagement, leadership and motivation, as well as institutional ethics. These things we have discussed. So overall, behind every uniform is a human being working late hours, juggling the crisis, as also still showing up with the integrity. So the Meghalaya case murder or Meghalaya murder case reminds us it is not just about technology or high level agencies. It is about trust, it is about training, and it is about truth. So the local police often dismissed and doubted, but they have demonstrated not just competence but also courage, not just protocol but also purpose. So let this be more than a case closed. Let it be a call to reimagine that how we see governance. Let it challenge every citizen to ask that, do we trust the system enough to fix it from within, or are we still waiting for a hero from outside? So whether you are in India, US, Europe, or anywhere in the world, this is not just a story about Meghalaya. It is a universal story of justice. It is the universal story of ethics and the power of strengthening institutions from the ground up. So let's share, comment below that should be reform and empower our local police more. Would you trust your local police station with justice? Because sometimes the smallest stations solve the biggest mysteries. Thank you so much.